Testing. Testing, testing. Sound mic. Sound check. Sound check. Sound check, sound check. Testing, testing. Testing, 1, 2, 3. Testing, 1, 2, 3. Sound check, sound check, sound check. Okay, I think my sound works, which is good because last week it was a bit fuzzy. Hi, okay, live. It's 1:09 p.m. and it's Boxing Day. Yesterday was Christmas, so Merry Christmas, everyone. Happy Christmas. Okay, let's have a look at the charts. Actually, first I might go and get a cup of tea. Maybe I'll get a cup of tea first. Maybe I should bring the mic up a bit more. Testing, 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 testing. Yeah, that's better. I think that's better. If there's any problems, let me know. I'll try not to go too close to the mic. There's a... I think when it goes to the yellow, it gets fuzzy. Right. I'm going to go get a cup of tea. So I'm going to start in 5 minutes. I'll put this here. Starting in 5 minutes. Mary. Starting in 5 minutes. So if you join me, then stay. if you don't want to stay, then don't. And we're going to have a look at the charts quickly, very quickly, super quickly, because I literally have 50 minutes. Then I have to go. All right. So that's 45 when I come back because I'm going to get a cup of tea. All right. I'm back with my tea, a little bit of chocolate. Got this vegan chocolate for Christmas. It's very nice. Lovely. Right. So we'll dive straight into Bitcoin. What's happening with Bitcoin, huh? Just hide this. SFP, SFP, nothing. No trades. Long, short, nothing. All right, so still thinking it's possible to go down for a Wyckoff. Bam. But it obviously hasn't happened yet. And we're getting some higher lows here. It's not bullish just yet. It does look like an accumulation above this previous range, doesn't it? So that's kind of my first thoughts looking at the charts. Whether there is some kind of, there's a previous range here, and maybe we're seeing an accumulation above the previous range, a reaccumulation. And let's have a look at the previous range. Oops, let's just hide that. I'll look at the daily chart, the previous range, this lower range. Oh, where's my toolbar? Where is my toolbar? There it is. Let's have a look. So, yeah, it's come into the previous range point of control, which is this high volume node, a few times. Let's just take the volume underneath this value area. So we're still not there yet. It's kind of, it's come back to the point of control of this previous range and it's finding support. Now that could be quite dangerous because sometimes consolidation over support is bearish. Sometimes it just finds support at a higher level. And so what we're looking for is bullish absorption. We're looking for decreasing we're looking for bullish absorption. We're looking for decreasing pressure, effectively. And sometimes a little bit of pressure can be good as well. But right now, that's what it looks like. It looks like we've, when you look at the charts as a whole, it looks like we had a range here. And then we came into this kind of higher range. And now the price looks like it's trying to somewhat consolidate here. It's like it's going step to step. Big gap here, obviously. It's going, the price is step to step going, so it gets an expansion, take profit, reaccumulation, expansion, reaccumulation. Doesn't mean that this is not bearish, because we've put in some lower prices and you can easily go up for a lower high quite easily, which is what I was talking about last week, about the potential of a head and shoulders pattern here. We won't know how that plays out until the price does expand to the upside and to see what the volume looks like when that happens. I'm going to draw out this volume now as I do. I'm not going to go into crazy depth because I haven't got much time. The value area has kind of slipped down a little bit, as you can see, just a jot. And obviously we haven't hit the point of control of this overall range yet. So So that's going to be a big resistance points. And we haven't broken this outer trend line. This inner trend line, which I drew before, it's washed basically. See that? I told you it was washed, so it's kind of irrelevant, but now we're kind of back above it. And so that's actually a good sign. I was saying before that if it was ultra bearish, then after you lose it, you drop, take out the low. We didn't do that. So I wasn't feeling bearish because that didn't happen. And if it was ultra bearish, I think if the bear season had begun, then that would be the next expected price action behavior, and it hasn't happened. Because it hasn't happened, I was feeling more bullish, and then I was kind of contemplating the potential of some kind of accumulation. Now, a Wyckoff accumulation, as I kind of indicated with the schematics, requires an ST in phase B, because if that was the PS, you have the SC, the AR, the ST, higher high, you go all the way down to take out the lows, and they both have it in the schematics. And so I do wonder if that's going to happen still, even though people are feeling bullish. Even though I'm feeling bullish, I do wonder if we do still go down and take out the lows. And so what's happening now is range bound behavior. Ever since we lost that point of control, the price has been in a range. It's at the lower part of the range with the point of control of this local range in the high of this local range. So I think that's quite bearish. Just looking at it now, I mean, I think there's an opportunity for short from the point of control into that trend line. Reaction, swing failure, all the way down to the lows. Reaction first. Wait for the longs to get trapped, and then longs get trapped, and then you have an invalidation, and then you can take it all the way down to lows. And that would still coincide with the long that I have in my mind, lower down. To take out that low. And that's the SFP. Now this one, I think possibly actually just I was looking at the higher level, but now I'm just thinking maybe not. Not sure exactly where. I mean, it could SFP anywhere, but I think the only thing that would change my mind is if we don't get a reaction. And so the price goes up, it breaks that trend line, and it starts to find support from the point of control. And then the point of control flips from resistance to support. You've broken the trend line, and then you're back in the range as well. So there's a lot that would be quite bullish. So if you start seeing that, that's quite bullish for us to take out the highs, reclaim the point of control as support, break that trend line. That'd be really bullish. And then you'd be looking for the price to find support, and then you could long off that. And so you're looking for a higher long. If you started seeing that, it wouldn't be a breakout long because you still wait for the pullback. Really, if you want to see that, you really want to take out that, you really want to hit the point of control and then find support off this lower point of control. You kind of want to see that, and then maybe then we can do something like that. Do you long here? Well, you don't know. We don't know what's going to happen. We don't know if we're going to go down, or we don't know if this is going to continue grinding up. But what we do know is that it's kind of trying to get into the value area. It's not. We have this local point of control in the way, so that would act as resistance with this trend line and some kind of golden pocket. So yeah, so the best trade would be from the low here. If we get lucky, if you get lucky and you don't take out that low, then you are taking out that low, depending on the absorption, the bullish absorption at those levels. that's Bitcoin, really. That's it. Don't really have much more to say. I'm not going to go into more depth because I don't have time, and I want to look at a couple of other coins. I'll just group these for Friday 26. And then what I'm going to do next week is I'm going to delete all my chart, everything next week, and I'll redo the charts afresh, have a fresh look at everything. So I'm not kind of going to spend more time here. Let me have a look at the monthly time frame, have a look at these candles quickly. Oh, let me just delete that. You kind of want to see a monthly swing failure, don't you? You kind of want to see the previous month low taken. We are seeing decreasing volume on these monthly red candles. You see that? So decreasing prices, decreasing. It's more like consolidation than it is crazy downward pressure. The volume isn't out of the ordinary. We go to the 3-month candle. That's a bearish engulfing. That's pretty bearish on the 3-month time frame. I do expect we go up for a revisit to clear the liquidity. 6-month looks quite bearish too. And the 12-month looks quite bearish too. At the moment, it looks quite bearish. There's quite a lot of higher time frame bearish candles. Doesn't mean we don't go up. Doesn't mean for a drop down to this low here at 40.47 next year sometime before we pump rally and take out, end at 200 250 by the end of the year. And that would be amazing, wouldn't it? It would be amazing if we went up, reversed, dropped, took out these lows, whatever, and then pumped. Wouldn't it? That would be really amazing. Just have a look at that. Yeah, that's kind of what you're looking at. Which channel do you take? Trickier. So look at that one. Yeah, that's the one. How nice that channel is. And so really, there's a few channels here, but that's the one, that midpoint. Whatever happens, if we do get a drop next year, that will be the target. But realistically, that low there, that pivot low there, for next year. You have this big point of control slightly higher at 57k. So we're actually outside of the value area, and we may just put in a higher low, and that's always what could happen. You could always put a higher low and not take out that pivot like that, and then go up like that instead of a bigger drop. No one knows. No one can predict that. I kind of think maybe we get a bullish first few months, take out the liquidity from the highs, go down, find support. Probably for next year, bear market has begun, and then we get a pump towards the end of 2026 type thing. At the moment, that's where my mind is at. People are saying it's bearish next year. I don't think it's bearish next year. It's a gut feeling. Yeah, and you know, I can always be wrong. None of this is financial advice, but I've been seeing a lot of wealthy people follow the horoscopes. Did you know that? And for 2026, I see a lot of positive things for finances and money. A lot of the big players use the horoscopes. I mean, 2025 was the year of the snake. It was the year of shedding. 2026 is the year of the horse. It's a fire horse. And let me just kind of find the link that I was looking at. I'm just finding it now. I mean, horoscopes. I mean, who knows? "2026 is the money year many of us have been preparing for without even realizing it." See that? In numerology, 2026 adds up to 1, the number of beginnings, boldness, and unfiltered potential. Da di da di da. And I was looking at this and it's like, shit, all the signs are saying money, 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 money. Yeah. So it's on my mind. A lot of people follow the horoscopes. See, the markets are really about psychology. And when people are feeling bullish and feeling kind of like it's going to be a prosperity, then they're probably going to try and risk some things, try some more risky things. The other thing that I was looking at, which was quite interesting, I'm going to show you now. Where is it? Obviously, I have to find it. Is this real estate cycle? And so this is a real estate cycle, and it peaks here. See, it peaks at 2026. See that? And in the same way, it peaked to 2019 or 1999 there, or 2007. Who knows? But a lot of people kind of go by this. They buy, they sell, they buy, they sell. They don't get it 100% right, but they go with the cycles of the markets. See, years of hard times, low prices, and good time to buy stocks, goods, etc. Hold until the boom reaches the years of good times, then unload. Sure thing. Save this card and watch closely. And there's this one, the real estate cycle. So I don't know. I don't really know. Who knows? But it's food for thought. So you've got a lot of kind of positive things that are looking on the horizon. I think it's also possible that you get a head and shoulders pattern fake out, which I've talked about, where you've got like a rising neckline here, get head and shoulders pattern, and then bounce, and then, and that's probably what I would expect if that was to happen. If we get a big head and shoulders with a fake out of the neckline, this pattern is an extremely bullish pattern. Yeah, and even though people would be bearish because it's like lower highs, lower lows, if you break a neckline of a head and shoulders and then reclaim the neckline, then that is ultra bearish. It's ultra bullish. It's ultra bullish because you've invalidated a massive higher time frame bearish pattern, and then you can long it with an invalidation of, because you don't expect the lows to be taken again, and then you'd be looking for a mega breakout. Yeah, so it's on my mind. I'm kind of thinking about some kind of head and shoulders fake out, assuming that we go down and we form a head and shoulders pattern here with a lower high. We have to see what happens. I would expect, if that was to play out, I would expect we get a kind of crazy rush towards the end of the year, end of 2026, rather than the summer months. Anyway, it's food for thought. It's just on my mind. So we'll see what happens. Otherwise, it is bearish. We do a head and shoulders pattern, we go down, and then we're just in bear season until we kind of hit this midpoint, which be the next reaccumulation zone, filling all these gaps in some kind of bear market to go back up effectively. It could take a while. That's Bitcoin, and I'll quickly have a look at a few other things now, very quickly. Yeah, look, DXY looks bearish, doesn't it? DXY looks bearish. Yeah, it's looking bearish. The whole thing looks bearish. bearish engulfing on the yearly time frame on this big reversal. So that kind of makes you think we're going down on the DXY, which is good for assets, stocks, etc. Let's have a look at some other things without getting rid of all my chart stuff. Let's have a look at Ether. No. Wow. You'd expect some kind of pullback, huh? If the year ended like that. SPX, you'd expect some kind of pullback. Forget the lines. Can hide all the lines. Delete them, actually. Don't need them. You'd expect some kind of pullback. You don't just expect it to go up. So maybe we get a pullback in January and then we can keep on going. Who knows? Let's see. RTX looks better. Russell 2000 looks better. Let's have a look at Bitcoin dominance while we're here. So you've got this kind of, we're at the top of this triangle, aren't we? A little bit. Bearish engulfing on that 3-month time frame, went up, cleared liquidity. Yeah, it's kind of looking like a reversal here, isn't it? So I do think we're probably going down on Bitcoin dominance in the next few months. And maybe we'll come down to the golden pocket there. First few months. And food for thought. Let's have a look at ETH, BTC quickly. We can find it. Get rid of all this stuff. I'm going to reset my charts next week, so you'll be pleased to know about that. See how the year ends, but actually I don't mind that candle if we get a swing, if we get an SFP of the previous year low like that. If that closes like that, I'd really think that next year will be a really nice altcoin year. If we end up with this kind of candle with a close above the previous year low, I think that's really bullish. Decreasing volume, yeah, I like that. That would be really nice for a nice green, at least, yeah, a green year, or at least a rise, but probably a green year. So ETH against BTC is looking quite good right now. And that one, look at that, that's a piercing candle. That's a really bullish reversal candle forming on ETH BTC in the last 6 months, because it's effectively it's closing above the body, 50% above the previous candle body. Yep, easily above 50%. And so 3 months. Yeah, this is looking quite good, actually. Do the volume. We're closing above the point of control. That's like a 3-month candle back test of the point of control. That's a really nice recovery, isn't it? On ETH BTC. So maybe we will get an alt season in the next 3 months. First year of 2006. First part of 2006. All right. That's my Bitcoin update. I'm not going to go on longer than that. I'll quickly move on. So this is QANX, Quan platform, and what did I say last week? I was looking at this swing failure, huh? Wasn't I? I was looking at this SFP of this level there. It happened, and look, we're getting a nice reaction. So there's definitely, it was definitely a good level, wasn't it? It was a good level that I gave people, if people were paying attention in my last week's stream. The price is now, from that swing failure level, the price is now 15% above that level. We had a really nice, we had a swing failure and then we had a little fake out, but effectively that was the area I was interested in. We're getting some nice green volume on this rise. It's looking quite bullish, isn't it? A little bit of a impulsive buying. Now we're in the correction. It's almost like you've had your first wave and now we're correcting. Wave 2, some kind of expanded running, some kind of running flat here. So I think QANX is looking quite nice actually. So I mean, waiting. You might not have caught lower prices, but basically we're back at the same levels as a couple of weeks ago, almost 2 weeks basically. And this is looking quite good. Let's have a look at these higher time frame candles. On weekly, we have to see what happens this weekly candle, if we get some kind of bullish engulfing weekly or not. We'll know by the end of Sunday. And on the monthly time frame, it's looking nice. The monthly time frame is looking like a swing failure of these red pivots here. See how the month ends. That'll be important. If you close lower, then we still have potentially to go down to try and put in a higher low. If you close higher, then maybe we don't go down so far. So it depends on how the month ends. Depends on how the 3 month ends. It'll be nice if the 3 month candle closed above these previous lows. That would be a really bullish indication. That would be a 3 monthly candle swing failure of these previous candle lows with a massive buying tail. Same with the 6 monthly time frame candles. And then on the yearly time frame, we're already above previous year lows, like a massive candle swing failure right now. So buying now would be basically buying at the same price as last year's low, thereabouts. So it's still a really good price to buy. And you know, I'm just looking at this now, I'm just thinking to myself, if you're out of position, maybe some people are, it might be a good time to start scaling in. We saw a nice 2 days ago, we saw a really nice bullish engulfing with increasing volume, and that's led to increased impulsive buying. And we're seeing the same thing on the 3-day candle. If we close higher in 10 hours time, some nice bullish price action here on QANX, possibly bullish engulfing on weekly. Some nice local bullish price action now, just off this swing failure here. Just remember that this lower low here has invalidated any impulsive wave 1, wave 5. Like if that was impulsive, which it was, this lower low has invalidated any of those impulses. So the whole thing is still, to me, looking like an expanded flat. Okay, it's interesting because the mainnet, the testnet news led to a sell-off, but now we're actually getting to fair prices which means something. Yeah, so potentially we're still looking at what I was talking about, some kind of expanded flat. You see that expanded flat? Oh look, it's almost to the T, an expanded flat. Let's have a look at my folder. I'm going again, so next week I'm going to be resetting all my charts, clearing everything, redoing everything again. What did I say here? That's no use. Oh yeah, because I was just speculating, wasn't I? That's pointless. It was these ones, wasn't it? Nope. There's none of those. Oh, you'd have to go to last week's video to watch that. Let me just quickly do it here quickly. Very short video. Hopefully a short video. A, B, C. A, B, C. Now this is the thing, I don't know what this is going to look like. Is it like a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, B, C, A, B, C? Could it just be another A, B, C here? Or could there be another, like, for some kind of 5 wave there? I don't know. Who knows? No one really knows. It's all kind of fun. there. Oh, that was the wrong one. There, C to C to C. Let's hide these. Let's get rid of that. Let's put some timings in. I've done this before, but I'll just quickly do it now. Yeah, end of January. The thing is, the fib time is coming to the end of January, like the 3rd week of January. So I do wonder if we do have another dip at the end of January. How else can I draw this? Let's try it somewhere else. Let's just try it from these 2 last pivots. No, I don't like that one. You already had the expansion here, see? On this 618 here. Bam. And then it just made a lower low. Is there anything else I can do here? Put you from there to there. To the beginning of the month, beginning of February, yeah? End of Jan, beginning of February. That would be more like that. And then how would I do this? Okay, it's come all the way to find resistance off the 618. That's really the level in the sand. Getting back above like 2 cents or 1.968 cents. See that? Let's try it somewhere else. Let's try it like this. Full fib, full extend. No, I don't like it. Right. So anyway, we've taken out that low. So at the moment that's holding a support. Let's just put volume minus, not the whole range, just that. So we're kind of underneath the value area. We kind of need to get back above this area. Short of like a crazy expansive move with crazy volume, I do still feel like we need to round here, consolidate here for a bit before we do explode out. And that would be good to see. Imagine if we start getting something like this here and then expanding out at the beginning of February, because they announced the mainnet. The mainnet, yes. That would be good, huh? The mainnet is gonna bring in a lot of interest. All right, so that's QANX. If you like this video, feel free to like, share, or not. Feel free to curse. It's all good. And what time is it? All right, it's running late. Short videos today. I'm going to be looking at TRVL. If you like this video, please like, share, post, paste, share. My friend told me I should introduce myself, but then my brother told me, don't take so long because you're taking so long. Who am I? I'm Amir Sajadi. I'm an Airbnb superhost. Voila. I've been doing it for over 10 years. I have a YouTube crypto channel. You're welcome to subscribe or not, whatever you like. I'm trying to get to 1,000 subscribers, so every subscription is welcome. I do a weekly update on BTC, TRVL, and QANX. And then obviously my links are there. So that's my introduction. And Oops, let me just go back. So the last 2 weeks I've done some really, dare I say it, long streams talking about Dtravel and TRVL. This one's important, why I'm still bullish. Dtravel, my journey, is basically talking about the history and what's next. And then this one last week I was talking about why I'm still bullish on TRVL despite the nightmare crash. So please go and watch those videos. They're relevant. They're still relevant. They're not out of date. And I just do a weekly update on Dtravel TRVL. And so what's going on with TRVL? Well, we had a nightmare situation where Bybit delisted TRVL, and they put an ST tag roughly around here. Good timing, huh? And therefore we saw this crazy sell-off. Yeah, so effectively anyone on Bybit, rather than transfer their TRVL and keep it and hodl, people would just sell and just get out because it's being delisted and you can't trade it anymore. And now TRVL is no longer on Bybit. I've had to recreate my charts because I used to use Bybit as in this combined chart algorithm, and now I've just had to take it off. And so obviously the volume is going to be slightly different because now we have to kind of ignore the Bybit volume. You have to kind of ignore Bybit now. Just imagine it never existed. There's nothing you can do. You see, everything's gone red, so I'm going to have to redo everything if I want to, which I don't right now. And that was the Bybit. Look, invalid symbol. So that's happened. So the sell pressure is off. That's really important development in this token. And we're no longer getting any more selling from Bybit. That's really important to note. We no longer have that threat. Oh, Bybit's going to delist or ST tag. We don't have to worry about that. And so what it actually means is that you might be able to buy TRVL at discount prices right now, just because of what's happened. It's come down another 76% in that crazy selling. If the Bybit thing didn't happen, it is possible we would have still put in a lower low, but we may be somewhere higher, you know, and not so low. No one knows, but for sure that had a massive impact on the sell pressure. I usually kind of use the combined chart, and so I'm kind of without updating everything, I have to kind of go to this 3 exchange combined chart, have a look at the volume, and you can see that now without the Bybit volume, you kind of ignore the Bybit volume now. You can see where the point of control is. The point of control is a shade above 0.2 of a cent, and it changes everything. Actually, it changes a lot for this token. I feel that there's a liberation, there's a freedom in getting off Bybit, because people who bought and sold and buy. Usually people don't buy on one exchange and then sell on another exchange or transfer. They just buy and sell on the same exchange. And effectively what's happened is all the volume from Bybit can be pretty much ignored. You have to assume that people sold at a loss, and not many people are transferred. And then you can ignore the Bybit volume, and you can see now without the Bybit volume, the volume profile is actually looking a lot healthier when you just take into consideration KuCoin, Gate, and Mexi. So even though from a candles perspective the chart looks pretty miserable, from a volume perspective it's not looking too bad, because our point of control now is at 0.2 of a cent. We have a high volume node at around 0.7 of a cent or 0.8 of a cent, and we're within the value area. It's almost like this token is finding the ground. Yeah, it's finding the floor. That's evident in all of the volume that we've been putting in this range. It's like a new range, and it's almost like the token is finding its true price. If you go to the Dune.com analytics for Dtravel, you can see that the turnover has been, what is that, $1.5 million. If you go to CoinGecko, you can see right now the fully diluted market cap is $1.7 million. The actual market cap of tokens in circulation is 770. So we're significantly undervalued. But it doesn't mean that people aren't afraid. People are still afraid. That's why people aren't heavily buying. They're still not sure. Or maybe they've just run out of money because it's Christmas, Boxing Day, whatever. Who knows? But if you watch my videos, you'll know that I'm extremely bullish. I'm extremely positive. I've explained why. I've talked about the new chapter, which was announced by Eric Pace, the new CEO. I've talked about, this is a new chapter. I've talked about the why Dtravel collapsed, what happened afterwards, the previous CEO and the previous founders jumping and bailing because they didn't have a vision for the future. They didn't know what they were doing, basically, and they didn't have the resilience to stay and fight. And what's happened in this whole move to the downside is that we've effectively got rid of everyone who wanted to leave. That's what's happened. Anyone who wanted to leave is gone. Anyone who's staying, they're believers, they're true believers, or they don't really have enough capital to stay anyway. They're small players. It's not a big deal. The people who stay behind are people who really believe in Dtravel, and Dtravel is changing. That's what I've been talking about the last 2 weeks. I've been talking about the new chapter, and I've been talking about the changes. Now, nothing's been announced yet. So what's interesting about the charts, and I'll just kind of focus on the charts today more than anything, just to give you a break from my monologue, is that all right, this was a new time pivot that I did based on this WXY idea. But before, I've been talking about this trend-based time, and the trend-based time was from the launch to the first pivot low to the first pivot high. See that? That's trend-based time. What was interesting about that trend-based time is that the 618 gave us the all-time low there. The 1-to-1 gave us the pivot high there. The 1-to-1-618 roughly gave us a pivot high there. The 1-to-2 gave us a pivot low there. So this fib time has been giving us some really accurate pivots in time. And I was telling people, look, we're coming into this time pivot now. Look what's happened. We're forming a pivot here as well. You see that? Now, I can't tell you that this may still test the lows again, and we may still come back down to revisit the lows. And then what I was looking at before was the idea of a different trend-based time based on some kind of higher time frame WXY idea. Who knows? No one really knows. It's all speculative analysis. That would give a 618 beginning of February. If there's no other way of drawing this. Let me see. Is there another way of drawing this? Yeah, February. So could we actually be forming, could this correction, what I call it a correction, could it actually be pivoting in February? You kind of have to zoom out a little bit and just focus on the monthly time frame if you're doing that. And if you do it on the monthly time frame, yeah, basically February. And then if you're doing it on the monthly time frame, time is an area, it's not an exact point in time. The problem we have on these monthly time frame, on this monthly time frame volume, is we do have increasing volume. You can see the volume, it's increasing. And generally speaking, that's really bearish. Increasing volume, decreasing prices. And so what you get is sometimes you get a revisit to test the highs, and that becomes your trade. Effectively, traders will look at that and go, wait a minute, the price is up 400-500%. That's enough. I've just 4-5x to my money. I'm going to sell. And then you get quite a lot of sell pressure at areas where people who are trapped will look to exit. And then that becomes a liquidity run effectively, but the price still goes down, because then when the price rejects, now you get crazy sell pressure again, and then you're going for lower prices. So the only way to reverse that idea is to go up with volume, is to break through with volume. Volume is really important. We have to look at the volume. Is this token dead? That's a question I've been asked. A lot of people saying it's a dead token, but clearly you can see there's some buying. So not everyone believes that it's a dead token. There are still people buying, and there are still people interested in TRVL and Dtravel. There's still people who are looking to continuously buy. The project isn't dead. I can tell you, even though it's obvious there's been a few delays on the announcements. It's obvious. Given time, we have no choice. They want to do a good job. Eric wants to do a good job. He wants to give us a finished document. You can't just force people, rush people. They don't work on our time schedules. They want to do the best for the community and for everyone else. There's been a lot of chat on Telegram. People still a little bit upset. You can go there and have a look. You can go there and vent. Here, Indy's saying something quite nice. 2026 could potentially see a bull run, and one of the narratives may be for real world adoption usage. So people here feel Dtravel will catch on if this occurs. If so, why? I'm curious how survivable is the platform itself. We're seeing growth in usage. Our operations currently sustainable. And the long answer is we're going to succeed. This Dtravel is going to become big. The short answer is that we are under pressure. Yeah, Dtravel is clearly under pressure because the price of the token is low. The runway is connected to the token price. But the people in charge, Eric and team, Eric and co, are working on it. They're working on changing everything. Tokenomics, the governance, the business narrative. Everything is changing, and then also he will announce new features to Dtravel. So there's a lot of things happening behind the scenes, and the announcements haven't been made yet. Here, Uri Heberl says Dtravel has done 500k GMV in the last 12 months. Soon the market cap will reach a point where it will generate a big part of the market cap as revenue. With the market cap below 1 million USD, that price range could be very near. The price action is really bad, but we might just have formed the bottom. Now, I've been talking about the bottom forming on the 3rd week of December, and lo and behold, we get some buying again, and other altcoins are kind of going up again. Here's Andrea, lovely Andrea. She's the community manager at Dtravel. She says, hey everyone, I understand everyone's concerns and worries. The price of the token is not what we were wishing for, but Eric, that's the CEO, the new one, is working on revealing the new roadmap where we are going to give you all details of tokenomics, new directions, changes, staking mechanisms, and more. I still don't have an exact date for this, but it will be announced hopefully before 2025 or the early days of Jan. Dtravel keeps getting bookings and listings daily, although I understand it should be going faster. Recently, we've dropped our first collaboration with big STR influencers in Spain, and it's the first of many we will onboard. And if you go to the general channel, you can see the activity of Dtravel. New booking site activated, TRVL bye-bye, new users, new bookings processed, booking process. You can see it. So you can see that the business is still working. It's not exponential yet. And last week I was kind of talking about maybe we need a new chart. Maybe, you know, who knows? Like, once the business proposition changes, once the announcements, look, this is on MEXC, and look, the value areas change. Look on MEXC, you can see that actually the point of control has moved right down to the lows. So we're starting to get some really bullish volume coming here. It's really interesting to see. And you can see here that the price is way oversold. The RSI is still below this lower level. It's the right place in the RSI and other parts, other indicators to buy. We are oversold, yeah. So we're starting to get some bullish volume, but it doesn't mean that we're going to go to $1.56 tomorrow. It means that we might be forming at least, if not a permanent bottom here, some kind of medium time frame bottom, and we might be getting a move to the upside shortly. And that's basically TRVL. Now, like I said, we might need a new chart. There are some conversations happening behind the scenes about the future, the best way forward, and the priority number one, I've been talking to them, is anyone who stayed, people who held out and hodled and didn't abandon ship, all the token holders effectively. When you're looking at the 12-month candle here, you can see it's really bearish engulfing continuation. Often on these kind of big, massive volumes, it's massive, big sell-off last year. And this is, lo and behold, this is down to the previous leadership, and they bailed. Previous founders, they didn't have the foresight or the tenacity or the resilience. They didn't have the foresight. I mean, Dtravel didn't have the foresight to at least have a reserve to hold the lows, yeah, to find ourselves in this position. It's quite funny because the previous leadership, the previous CEO was paying the tokenomics PhD, the genius who came with our tokenomics that was launched 2 years ago. They were paying him like $200,000 a year. Previous CEO was doing that. Admittedly, he was only working like 1 or 1.5 days a week, but it was ridiculous, the abuse and the mismanagement of the previous leadership. And this has all changed. Yeah, this has all changed. And so usually with these high volume drops, you do get a revisit at least a halfway, which would take us to 1 cent. And sometimes if it's, you could get a revisit all the way up to the previous candle, which would be much higher. But because you got intermediary candles like the 6-month candle, you can see that the next 6 months we might go right back up to test the previous candle high, which is, again, it's about 1 cent, just above 1 cent. The 3-month candle, it looks quite bearish, doesn't it? It's like a bearish engulfing, but sometimes we'll kind of, the next few months we could, if nothing happens and nothing changes, we could go back up to test that. Will take us back up to 0.7 of a cent. But with the changes, with the energy, with the partnerships, with the tokenomics, with the governance, with the initiatives, with everything that's going to be revealed, I think actually, and I think what we'll get is we'll get investors, new investors will come in. There won't be any more. And this is the other thing that was really bothered me with the old leadership. They got investors involved and they sold them TRVL off the market, which so it didn't have a impact on the price. And that's not happening again. There's no more off the market deals, under the table deals. And so that's actually good for us, because it means that if there are any more exchanges they want to list us in the future, they're going to have to buy TRVL on the market, and that will force the price to go up. Yeah, so everything is changing, but we just haven't had the announcements yet, so we just have to wait for them. Hey, oh, Edward Brealey. Merry Christmas, Amir. Merry Christmas to you. Is this AI bot? Nope. 6 or 7 stocks of TRVL. How much are we looking at? Well, I'm actually imagining that Dtravel TRVL will be $1 trillion business in the future. So who knows? With the new plans, that's my vision for the future. But whatever happens, it's either going to go up or down. And if it goes down, it goes down to 0. And I'm not expecting that. So now I'm expecting up. Cyrus Brealey, 67 on Americans. Hey guys, I have to go now. I have some people coming onto my channel. They've obviously bored. They should be opening presents or going out for runs, and instead they're watching me. It's all good. That's TRVL and Dtravel. I did see an update on the Dtravel website. Let me just go to it quickly. Where is it? It was on the blog. What is this? Dtravel partners with Reva to bring verified guest reviews to direct booking website. So you can see there's activity. You can see that we're still pushing forward, and the vibe is positive. The vibe is positive. I see 2026 as a rebirth of Dtravel. I see 2026 as a rebirth of our token, TRVL. I see 2026 as a really, really good year for us. It's the year of the horse. 2025 was the year of the snake. The year of the snake is the year of shedding, where the snake sheds its skin. You get a new skin. And 2026 is the year of the horse. That's when the horse runs, and it's the fire horse. So the fire that once burned everything away will take hold of the horse, and it will power the horse into new horizons. That's what I'm imagining for the future. So my next stream is going to be next Friday. Roxy, hello, TRVL Queen. So I've got a few people spamming me. Are we going climbing this Sunday? That's the real question. I'm assuming yes. It's my relatives. I'm assuming yes, we're going climbing. All right. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, 2026. Next week, I'm going to be deleting all my analysis. I'm going to be starting afresh as though nothing existed. I'm going to be looking at all my charts brand new. So join me next week, next Friday, for an extended session. We're going to be looking at everything from scratch. I'll be looking at everything. I'll be just spending some time just analyzing the charts, imagining that I have no idea about Dtravel. I'll be just looking at it with fresh eyes. And I hope you can join me for that. I'll be looking at all my charts next week. I'll be cleaning everything up. I'll be deleting everything. So join me next week. If you like this video, please like, share, subscribe. And if you don't like it, then say so. And I'll enjoy that too. I'll enjoy reading your negative comments. It's all good. All right, have a good day. Have a good weekend.